Welcome back to Major Discussions. I'm Fego Turetsky, and I'm here with my co-host, Melinda Brancato. We have a lot of things we are excited to get into today.
Today we have our major guest, Jared Wakefield.
Thank you, guys. Happy to be here. You know, it's felt like it's been a long time coming, so finally, you know, making it done. So
yeah, we're here. We have a new intro video, which we're so excited to share. It's very Brady Bunch kind of inspired.
I was going to say that. Very Brady Bunch.
Yeah,
I'm like, this is
was
Brady
cool.
Bunch.
It was
Got the chair spin coming in.
Intentionally
and
awkward. It was
everything.
wonderful. Teleprompter Brian Saccone edited that, and Matthew Hernandez was the one who shot our videos of everybody.
They did
so
such a good job.
That's our crew, guys. That's our major
Yes.
crew.
And we have a few decorations, but not as many as last week. You know, just enough.
Yeah, just enough. But you know, we're here to talk about Jared. So why don't you talk about yourself?
So my name's Jared Wakefield. I'm from Waterloo, New York. It's a little town in the Finger Lakes region. I'm about an hour southwest of here, give or take, depending on which way you go. I'm a broadcasting and mass communications major here at Oswego, and I don't even know what to get into because there's, as you know, a lot.
Exactly.
There's a lot going on.
That's what you're here for.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah, so I don't think I've ever been to Waterloo. When you were living there, what did you like to do in your free time? And are these things that you choose to continue to be involved with now?
I mean, it's really difficult because, you know, being in the field, it's nice, it's beautiful, but it's also really small. I had a graduating class of 100, which makes some people be like, oh, that's not bad. Some people are like, oh, why 100 people?
Yeah.
That's small. And I'm like,
from a small town too.
There's a school to the south of me that had 80 kids, so it's not, and like that 80 kids in the building, 80 kids in
Oh
the
my
high
goodness.
school.
But you know,
So
small town.
Yeah.
What are some things that you have there, like bowling alleys? And
Yeah,
things like that?
obviously bowling alleys, of course. If you're somewhere small town Finger Lakes, there's going to be a bowling alley. There's one in every town, so I picked that up. That was my sport of choosing, not only my sport of choosing, out of all the ones, it's the one I ended up having some success in. There's obviously racing, a lot of area racetracks, a lot of family that raced, so I ended up getting into that. I worked on cars, drove race cars, and now I talk about race cars. Talk and write and do everything else about race cars except actually work on them and stuff. And hey, look right there.
That's you as a bowler.
MVP award. There's my MVP award,
What a
team
champion.
captain.
How
senior
old are
year.
you in that?
That was my senior year, so 2017.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
That's lovely.
You look way
2 years
different
ago.
now.
Yeah, and that's 2 years difference. That is insane. Oh yeah, there is the orange machine, in 1986 Ford Mustang. We pulled it out of the weeds for about $1,000, put an engine in it. Some holes in the floor, not the safest car I've ever driven. We'll be honest, it wasn't that fast, but we dragged it to some top fives, a couple seconds. We did okay, all things considered. Not bad. This track here, Paradise Speedway, it's about 5 minutes from my home. I went to school in Waterloo, but I really kind of live between Geneva, Waterloo, and Phelps. Geneva's where Hobart William Smith is, for those of you who are looking at colleges. So this track, you know, it's right there. It's kind of, you know, it's a really small track. Really small in terms of like significance and everything. You know, it's one of those places. It's hard to describe Paradise without actually going there, if you know what I mean. It's one of those places.
It's got a nice name to it. I will
Yeah.
say that. But I mean, besides racing, besides bowling, I know that you're involved with the different media orgs here we have on campus, specifically WNYO. That's how I know you.
Yeah.
Do you want to maybe speak about your time there?
Well, I've spent time at all three. That's kind of the big thing. So obviously WNYO has been my big one this year. I was a web sports editor there. So I write and do a lot of recasts, mainly for hockey and stuff. In the spring and fall sports, there's so much going on. It's really difficult to keep up with. It's just me. But we really focused on hockey and basketball this year with that. Overall as well, I called a lot of games. I was the host of Countdown to Face Off, our pregame hockey program, same thing as Hockey Night in Oswego here at TOP.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, a lot of things going on there. I write for the Oswegonian as well, contributing writer. I was in their April Fools thing as well. I've written for sports. I've written for mainly sports for the most part, but I've done some other stuff. I've mainly done Laker Review. That's where I was drawing a blank is. Done a lot for Laker Review, had some fun with the opinion stuff. And here at TOP, I'm assistant producer for Laker Connections, which is better than Sports Talk. We're going to drag that in right here.
No.
We're going to drag it in. This is
I
a
don't
plague.
know
It's
if
going to
I agree
infect
with you there.
every show. It's going to infect every show.
I
It's
think
going
I'm
to
more of a
infect
Whether
every
I have
show.
an opinion
I'm
or
getting
not.
weird
Are we
looks from the
bringing-
control room. Maybe
are we
I don't
bringing
have
politics
that.
I'm a
into
Sports
this?
Talks girl. We have our audio
terrible.
is Garrett
Terrible. I'm
from
gonna
Sports
walk
Talk.
out.
That's my guy, man.
I'm going to walk
That's
out.
my pick.
How could you bring this
I gotta
controversy
revitalize
onto
it.
our
It's starting to
show?
lie
Vega,
down.
what's your opinion on that?
I have none.
You don't have
Look,
one?
Do I have
You're
an
the
opinion?
tiebreaker here. Sports
Oh,
Talk
I'm
or
the
Laker Connections? Make a decision.
Laker
I'm
Connections is
sports
the
talk.
longest
This
running
is worse
show
than
in
Crossfire.
WTOP history. Longest running show in WTOP history.
We'll put up a poll on our Instagram
Yeah.
just relating to the debate.
Let the audience decide.
Easy answer.
I'm not that person to ask.
Right.
Well, you seem very well-rounded, but do you
And
have a
biased.
preference with which topic you generally cover or write about?
Preferably motorsports or something I know about, like especially hockey. I spent a lot of time learning about hockey this summer, this fall, and spent a lot of time really sort of learning how hockey's played, the intricacies of it, because I feel like you have to know a sport to really write about it. That's why I feel like I have a good advantage in racing, is, you know, I've worked on modifieds, I've worked on all sorts of different cars, you know, the stuff that the big guys are driving. I even tested a modified, but, you know, that doesn't count. I didn't race it. So, you know, at the end of the day, I mean, I feel like I have an advantage in that way, knowing that I have that hands-on experience, you know, actually being in the pits. When I started going racing, I never went in the stands. Like, I never went as a fan. It was like, oh, we're going to go see the cousins in the pits. We're going to go see their car. You're going to go sit in the car. So it's very weird, but that's why I prefer racing, is that I've always felt like I've been a part of it and not an accessory to it, like just there. So absolutely the racing stuff. I mean, the bowling, you know, I like it. I do it sometimes, but, you know, sort of a different thing. Overall, I don't do it as much anymore. So, you know, I definitely prefer racing.
Yeah, it's really interesting that you say that, especially being in Oswego. We have the racetrack, we have the bowling alley. So it's like all your hobbies are in one area now as well, which has got to be cool
Yeah,
for you.
it's super weird, 'cause you got Lighthouse Lanes and all that, but, you know, it's nice to have.
Yeah, that's great. But besides that, don't go anywhere, because when we come back, we have more up ahead.
Athletics. Aaron, there were 6 big points. This is the one you've been waiting for. This group has never beaten Cortland.
Getting started with some men's soccer, as the Lakers had 2 conference matchups.
For half of the Lakers' goals this entire season.
Offense is key. You talked all about scoring goals.
Good evening and welcome to WTOP 10 Nightly News.
For the governor race with a strong lead, former Governor Andrew Cuomo is...
Barlow announced the completion of a large building mural in downtown Oswego.
The renovations on the Hewitt Union Building, turning it into the new Hewitt Hall.
And as we move into tomorrow, that rain is going to be in our area.
Moving to the Diamond now, as Sweet Caroline got a lot sweeter last night.
Life's taught me a lot, and I'm ready for more.
Well, you're not the typical kind of candidate that I hire. But you are exactly what I'm looking for.
Your company could be missing out on the candidates it needs most. Learn how to find a great pool of untapped talent at gradsoflife.org.
We've been marinating chicken in all sorts of liquids for 24 hours. These are vitamins and minerals and things that you need, nutrients. The chicken speedy is a staple of our culture.
Welcome back to Major Discussions. I'm Faye, and Melinda and I are here with our guest Jared. We're going to get right back into it. We left off speaking about your role at WNYO, but we also know that isn't the only place that you have experience. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of places, obviously, on campus with MYO, TOP, the Gonian. I have a lot of stuff going on.
How about
but
off campus?
Mainly, I was getting to that. Mainly, it's, you know, through Dirt Track Digest, that is my summer home, but really it's, you know, becoming more of a home overall. I am a staff writer and photographer there. I'm doing some stuff on the TV side a little bit as well, but mainly right now I'm on the journalist side.
That's awesome.
That's
so
cool.
You have a lot of articles up there. Where can we find your work?
A lot of places, actually. So if you're looking for like articles and stuff, dirttrackdigest.com. I don't have a tab in the writers thing yet, but there's a tag you can search, Jared Wakefield, and that pretty much pulls up all of my stuff. There's stuff on the Super Dirt Week website for the event that happens here in Oswego. Some of those are up. I did a lot of writing for that event. That was a very long week here. And I mean, there's also my website, jaredwakefield.com. That is my portfolio. There's everything there. There's me talking, there's me calling races, there's me writing, there's a lot of my photo stuff on there. It's a little bit geared to the photo stuff right now. And there's jaredwakefield.smugmug.com. Yeah, a lot of my names, so just if you remember my name, you'll be okay. But yeah, the Smug Mug is usually where photos get sold. When I was track photographer at Thunder Mountain, that's where I sold my photos. I still have that. That's still there for people who want to buy stuff for digital purposes or get prints or whatever. That's there as well.
So you know your stuff.
Right.
You have a heavy
There's a lot going on. There's a lot of places to find it. Yeah.
Right.
It's weird.
So we'll be sure to check that out. But looking ahead, do you have any exciting news heading into this summer?
I do. The one thing I can confirm is changes to my Saturday night plan. So we were coming in here earlier this week. It's like, oh, you're going to be the track photographer. Well, I'm still at Thunder Mountain, but now I am, as I kind of alluded to, I'm not the photographer anymore. I am the track announcer. I will be the voice of Thunder Mountain this year.
That's awesome.
So I'll be working down there, taking over for a little bit of a legend, Paul Small. He was the former announcer there. He used to do, when they used to do the TV broadcasts, Rush Hour on Dirt, he was their pit reporter, so he's a guy with a lot of experience. He was working for CBS doing snowcross just a couple weeks ago out in the Midwest. So I was pretty honored to be tapped for that role. And I'm looking forward to getting down Saturdays. Only 2 weeks, starting on the 16th here. So it's going to be really fun. I did it a few times last year. I showed you guys some stuff. Did it once or twice all right, but it's a lot different doing it there. Like, you got to go through, you have to do a lot of prep because, there's 8 different classes and stuff. It's a lot, but I'm looking forward to the challenge.
Congratulations, that's so exciting. So as you look forward to what you're doing with clubs and whatnot, as you look even further past college, what do you hope to do in your career then?
It's actually a really good question because I'm in a spot where I could do a lot of things.
Yeah.
I've been angling towards TV production. I'm doing sports TV production, so I've been trying to work with professors here like Professor Cleland and people outside with like DirtTrackDigest.tv. And they've been getting me in, having me start working camera, having me start to look at other stuff, this and that. So a lot of it is about getting out and doing. Like, there's a lot of good opportunities here with the clubs and all that, but also at the same time, you got to be able to go out and meet people and find stuff. You've got to know people as well. And I feel like that's put me in a pretty good position. I feel like I could really go anywhere I want at this point. I could probably do some photo stuff. I could write. I feel like I'm in a good spot though with that.
That's right. Great. With you achieving so much, do you have any advice pertaining to people looking to get out there, maybe for future students?
I mean, I think that, at least for me, I think that answer is kind of in the question. You have to put yourself out there. It's one thing to go to college and understand what everything is, but if you're actually going to go out and do it, it doesn't matter. Then it's just a piece of paper. It's knowledge, but it's not applied. You have to apply it, and you have to, be willing to understand that when you start off, you're not going to be great. My photos, like all the photos I sent you guys, are all from like June on of 2020. Before that, nothing was good. Like you could see like hints of like, okay, this is okay, but it wasn't good. Same thing with the writing. The first couple of articles, all over the place. Like I just did news and note stuff because I didn't feel like writing a race recap. But now that comes with time. You kind of have to be willing to put yourself out there and really see what's going to happen, because if you don't, then I feel like you're just putting yourself at a disadvantage.
Yeah, that
sounds amazing. Don't go anywhere. We're switching it up a bit right after this break.
We've been marinating chicken in all sorts of liquids for 24 hours. These are vitamins and minerals and things that you need, nutrients. The chicken speedy is a staple of our culture.
Of all the things you've done with your bike, donating it to Goodwill may be the most incredible of all. Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs.
Good evening and welcome to WTOP 10 Nightly News.
For the governor race with a strong lead, former Governor Andrew Cuomo is...
Barlow announced the completion of a large building mural in downtown Oswego.
The renovations on the Hewitt Union Building, turning it into the new Hewitt Hall.
And as we move into tomorrow, that rain is going to be in our area.
Moving to the Diamond now, as Sweet Caroline got a lot sweeter last night.
Welcome back, everyone. So we've discussed earlier Jared's passion with different sports and photography. So I want to kind of hyper-examine that with this little segment called Behind the Lens.
Yeah, so I mean, we've got a lot of stuff going on. Let's take a look at what the first photo we've got here in store. This photo here, yeah, we got the behind the lens, a sweet little graphic and everything.
Oh yeah, so behind the lens is basically we're going to go into detail about some of the photos that you've taken.
Okay. All right, let's see the first photo. Okay, so this is taken at the Ransomville Speedway in Ransomville, New York. It's in Niagara County. It's over by Niagara Falls, for those of you from the area, in the 716. Spent a lot of time up there. Chad Brockman, he owns Sunflowers of Sanborn in Western New York, and, you know, pretty appropriate with the back sunlighting here. So we'll kind of use this photo to break down what I'm looking for in a good shot. The three things that you're going to use to control a photo the most is it going to be your shutter speed, your aperture, and probably your ISO. The third one kind of depends, photographer to photographer. Those are the three that I'm usually looking for. ISO determines how bright a photo is. It's kind of how sensitive the sensor is. Low numbers, less sensitive for daylight. Higher numbers for dark or kind of more set lighting, indoor lighting, it depends. Shutter speed is going to control, especially in racing, the motion blur. A high shutter photo is going to look like you've literally stopped a moment in time, everything's frozen.
So kind of like this.
This is low shutter. This is about 1/40th, I believe. Okay. 1/40th of a second. That is shutter speed. Yeah, you can kind of see everything going on there. So this kind of illustrates the Bacus. There's good lighting. It works with the sunflowers. It's backlit. I pulled the yellows out a little bit in After Effects, but pretty straightforward photo here. This is one of the ones I really first liked when I got into photography.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
That's definitely a favorite.
Okay, so this is actually a more recent one. So I upgraded my camera equipment to Sony, and now I have a Sony a7 III. I have a Tamron 7180 f2.8 lens. Let's talk about aperture and shutter speed a bit more here. So aperture determines how much light you let in and also how wide your depth of field is. So this is a narrow depth of field shot with a really slow shutter speed. This is like 1/30th. This is actually at the Syracuse indoor race back in January. This is Mike Christopher Jr. for UF1 fans. That is an Ayrton Senna tribute helmet. So, I mean, you can kind of see the motion blur really at play here. You can see that the safety worker in the top right's been blurred. All the cars behind are blurred. Even the cars are blurred a little bit, too. And this kind of reflects how you'd actually see the car in your eyesight, because obviously your eyes, you know, have really high resolution, but, you know, this kind of controls just how fast. You really use that shutter speed to just show just how fast the cars are going, because sometimes you lose that when you turn the shutter speed up.
Wow.
Okay. Another good lesson in lighting here and positioning. This is at Outlaw Speedway down in Dundee, New York, in the southern tier, just about halfway down Seneca Lake. This is a hobby stock. These are cars that are literally, this is an old Chevy Monte Carlo. It's had a roll cage put in it. It's on street tires, no racing tires here. And they race for a couple $100. Everybody's there to have a good time. They beat and bang. I think it's kind of the stereotype of what people think of as racing. So off of turn 2 is this really good shot with this good backlight that comes in across the road. It comes in over top. You can really kind of pull out the lens flare and make it look really dramatic. This is a higher shutter shot, about 1/200 or so. One thing to note is that I am on the backstretch wall here. So there's a little pit lane off to the left of me. I am on the backstretch wall shooting through the fence at this car. So when this car comes by, this is like while he's exiting the corner, when he comes by, he is maybe 5 feet from me. So it's just separated between me and that concrete wall.
That's got to be exhilarating.
Yeah. You definitely put yourself in some interesting spots doing this stuff. Let's see what we got next. Oh, yeah, so let's get into hockey. So obviously I got an opportunity to shoot some hockey this year. This is my good friend A.J. Ryan absolutely blowing up Sutter Donegan in the SUNYAC semifinal. This kind of talks about timing of shots as well. You really need to be paying attention to the game and not only watching the game through the viewfinder, but you need to be watching either, I shoot with my left eye, so I'm left eye dominant, be watching the game through your right eye or put the camera down for a quick second, but don't take it away. Don't put it down and watch the game. You need it in your hand so you can get the shot, but you need to be aware of what's going on. And this is also why it helps to know the game, because if you know the game, you know when things like this are going to happen.
That's an incredible shot.
Thank you.
The timing is just immaculate.
Broken stick, everything, reactions.
I loved hearing about all of those photos. They were magnificent, and hearing what went into them is amazing. But don't go anywhere. There will be more fun as soon as we come back after this short break.
Good evening and welcome to WTOP 10 Nightly News.
For the governor race with a strong lead, former Governor Andrew Cuomo is...
Barlow announced the completion of a large building mural in downtown Oswego.
The renovations on the Hewitt Union Building, turning it into the new Hewitt Hall.
And as we move into tomorrow, that rain is going to be in our area.
Moving to the Diamond now, as Sweet Caroline got a lot sweeter last night.
Major Discussions is the new show that explores the stories of students right here on campus. I personally came here to SUNY Oswego for the broadcasting program because I love to hear people's stories and to do work just like this.
Hart, what's going on? I'm leaving. Why? What did I do? Not enough. The pressure's too much. I quit. I get it. I can do better. Just please don't leave.
Don't let your heart quit on you. Get your uncontrolled high blood pressure to a healthy range before it's too late.
Welcome back. As always, I'm Melinda, and I'm here with Faye. With us today is Jared.
What's up, everybody? How are we?
For this week's game, we have What Would You Rather? We're bringing it back from last semester. So here we have all our cards. We will each be picking a card from a deck with a choice between two options, and we have to decide which we would prefer. So, Mel, you want to pick the first
I feel like before we get started,
This is a lot of pressure.
We haven't put this to rest. Sports Talk or Laker Connections? Which would you rather watch?
Laker Connections, longest running show in TOP history. Aaron Valentino, Brian Rudman, electric.
Sports Talk, Garrett is on our crew. Gotta love him.
Jacob Bradley's on the Laker Connections crew. He's a traitor. He's a traitor.
Listen,
he works on Laker Connections. We start all this beef. He comes on our show. He works audio for our show.
Sports Talk is new. It's edgy. They had Spider-Man last semester. Are you kidding me? Come on. Faye, what are your opinions?
No pressure.
I'm Switzerland. I think I will let the Instagram poll decide for me.
It will be Instagram poll.
It will be decided on the Major Discussions Instagram poll.
Mission achieved.
See what we
the
get
beef
there.
is spreading.
Yeah.
Sports Talk.
Okay, Mel, pick the first card.
Anyway,
okay, let's go.
Our first actual game card will be, would you rather have to talk backwards all the time or walk backwards all the time? I don't even know.
That's got to be walk backwards, right?
Walk backwards.
I would say walk backwards.
Because then it just becomes a thing. Like after you do it, like it seems normal. It's just like, hey, how are you? And it's like, good.
Yeah.
Do you want us to pull the next card?
Sure. I'll pull the next card. Let's see what we got here. Would you rather live in the city or the suburbs?
Oh, I think city, actually.
City. Oh my goodness, of course, city.
I feel like Oswego is it's not quite a city. It's a very small town. And then I recently took a trip to Philadelphia in March, and that kind of changed my perspective on where I want to head and go, especially with public relations.
Love city. City, for sure. Born and raised in Brooklyn, the city all the way.
I recently went to DC, and they have a phenomenal metro system. And I was like, this is so nice because you don't have to drive anywhere. The traffic in DC is terrible, so it's super nice to have that and just be able to get on the train and go.
Metro systems are the best. Okay, my card. Would you rather travel in a rocket ship or a submarine?
Rocket ship. All the way.
That's
rocket ship.
Easy.
Submarine.
Going to space,
Why?
man.
No, submarine. Totally.
You explore Mars.
Submarines
I love
are
water. I love
submarines
water so
are big. They're
They found water on
underwater. They
Mars.
don't move fast. Rocket ships
No,
go.
and you can see all that underwater life. Come on, that's amazing.
Right. I feel like it's more like, I don't know.
It's
Rockets
cool.
are cool. Anyway.
Yeah, they're cool, but rather submarine.
Would you rather never get tired or never get old? I would say never get tired. I feel like I don't want to live forever.
Same. I would rather never get tired because then at least the years that I have are like, you know.
I'm tired all the time.
I'd rather never get old.
No.
Really?
Yeah, I'd rather that. Just
Really?
like keep moving on, like continue like mentally aging, like getting.
Okay,
yeah,
so you're
like,
still getting wiser, but you just
not being an idiot
keep
college
this
student.
Pristine look.
Yeah, keep the stash. Gotta keep the
stash,
stash.
keep the curls,
Gotta keep the hair.
and,
Grandparents
full
on both sides are bald, so I'm in trouble. I'm in
Oh,
big
really?
trouble. I'm in big
You
trouble.
wouldn't be able to guess.
Yeah, I'm in big
No.
trouble. Both my uncles are bald. Not good.
I'd rather the time that I have be as productive as possible. Maybe I have an unhealthy obsession
But I don't
with
wanna be
productivity.
bald.
Whatever.
I mean,
That's what it comes down to. I don't want to be bald.
I hear that. I hear that.
All right, let's take this one here. Let's see what we got. Would you rather have pancakes or waffles?
Waffles.
That's a good one.
Of course.
I don't know.
Waffles. All the way.
I'm game for a good chocolate chip pancake.
Neither.
Those
No,
are really
waffles are literally, they're so considerate. They're just like, let me
Yeah.
hold all of that syrup for you right here in these convenient boxes.
Fair enough. I like pancakes. And he said neither. Why
Neither.
do you not like?
And breakfast food usually isn't my thing. I don't eat a ton of breakfast.
No, I love
Usually when
breakfast
I'm
food.
breakfast, it's like I want like ham. I want like sausage.
All right, so that answers a would you rather of breakfast or dinner.
that does
I would
if you were to
prefer breakfast.
dinner all day.
breakfast.
Or have best of both
Breakfast.
worlds.
I love breakfast for dinner is my favorite.
But you can have
I
best
need
of both
breakfast
worlds
food
with
for
steak and
everything.
eggs.
Okay. Here, another one. Okay, would you rather be able to talk to animals or speak all foreign languages?
Oh, that's a good one.
That's tough.
I'm gonna say speak all foreign languages, just because I would be nervous to hear the gossip of squirrels. They see everything. I don't know that I want to know what they do.
I also would choose foreign languages, but because just think about how difficult it would be to kill a mosquito. Just think about that. It's gonna be like, I have a family.
Well, that, and if you're speaking to animals, you're like every Disney princess, and people just
Yeah,
look
I
at you
gotta
like
go
you're
with foreign
bonkers.
language thinking about
Yeah,
that now.
at least
If you
foreign
step-
languages, like it's not the weird thing.
If you
it's
step
cool.
on an ant, you like hear their family like screaming like,
Oh,
he's
it's terrible. No.
terrible.
No.
Terrible.
Foreign languages all the way.
I think that was a great one to end on.
Yeah, good note to end on.
Alrighty, that's our show, folks. We hope you had as much fun as we did. Thanks so much to Jared for joining us here tonight.
You can follow our Instagram page, major_discussions, for more behind-the-scenes looks and some fun questions throughout the week.
Tune in next week at 9:30 for more major discussions.
You gotta bump to the music, man.
Athletics. Aaron, there were 6 big points. This is the one you've been waiting for. This group has never beaten Cortland.
Getting started with some men's soccer as the Lakers had 2 conference matchups for
Half of the Lakers' goals this entire season.
Offense is key. You talked all about scoring goals.
Good evening and welcome to WTOP 10 Nightly News.
For the governor race with a strong lead, former Governor Andrew Cuomo is...
Barlow announced the completion of a large building mural in downtown Oswego.
The renovations on the Hewitt Union Building, turning it into the new Hewitt Hall.
And as we move into tomorrow, that rain is going to be in our area.
Moving to the Diamond now, as Sweet Caroline got a lot sweeter last night.
Life's taught me a lot, and I'm ready for more.
Well, you're not the typical kind of candidate that I hire. But you are exactly what I'm looking for.
Your company could be missing out on the candidates it needs most. Learn how to find a great pool of untapped talent at gradsoflife.org.
We've been marinating chicken in all sorts of liquids for 24 hours. These are vitamins and minerals and things that you need, nutrients. The chicken speedy is a staple of our culture.